So if you ask me as a day trader, there's only one way you could succeed in this industry if you have very low capital or you are not really profitable and you have been blowing accounts lately or you're just not successful, you're just not making money from trading. So first of all, what I want to go over just quick is 80% and 90% of people will lose, and that's the statement. That's the truth, right? The second thing is you have the math against you when you're using leverage, and your mindset works like this: when you're facing a loss, you don't want to cut it because it's so hard for you to make money in this industry, right? It's not easy. So when you're facing a loss, you don't cut it. You move your stop loss. So if this is you, pay attention. And when you have a profit, you locking the profit in very, very quick and take it home instead of letting it run and moving stop loss to break even or moving your stop loss down. So you don't let you have, so you're more greedy when it comes to, I mean, you really want to take it home. Like, so I mean, what you should try to do instead, so this is fear and greed, you should try to flip the switch. You should add more to your winners. You should start holding your winners. You don't have to add to them, but you should holding your winners and allow yourself only to take 2 high probability setups a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. And then you should hold on to it and always have a 5R. So if you're risking 30 points on the Nasdaq or the DAX, you should always try to make, that's just a minimum 100 points, okay, 120 points. So 5R, okay, it's very important that you understand that that's how you actually become profitable. So how do you do that? How do you actually make progress with your trading? You do that by simply telling yourself you want to go in a little bit lighter and then define the correct position size for your account. If you ask me, I would say 1 contract on the CFD, US Tech 100 or Germany 40 per $10,000, then you're pretty safe, because if it goes against you 20 or 30 points, you would be losing $30. That's under 0.2. That's under 0.5%, right? If you are making, let's say, an average $100 to $200, and you might not be doing it yet, and we will fix that, but then you're making 1 to 2%, then it's okay. Even with a low win rate, you will still make money or be close to break even. You will stop losing. But there's only one way a person could be profitable in 2025 is by sizing down and holding on to your setup. So making yourself not that emotionally and try to detach more from the market. How can you hold on to it? How can we fix all this? So max 2 trades per day. We could fix it by you sizing down. So maybe you've been using 10 contracts per $10,000 account. Now you start using 1, because when it's time to cut losses, you do it, you don't move your stop loss. And when you're saying to yourself, I have to hold my to your target, you would do it. Normally you would do 10 contracts and make 15 points and make $150, right? Now to make the $150 that you would like to make, you have to hold on to 150. So now we're forcing your brain to hold on to a winner. And then once you start learning this, you start adapting the strategy, then you start sizing up to 2 contracts, 3 contracts, you start adding more size, or you're adding more money to your bankroll. So 2 ways broke people or the weaker mindset, the survival mindset with a very low cash balance can be successful in this, is by sizing down, and then you automatically will be able to hold on to a winner. Or what you could do, that's one strategy, right? And then you're making sure you always have a 5R. So if you are risking 20 points, you're never ever gonna exit it, and you have to train yourself to do this. Even if it doesn't work or the trade goes to a loss, you have to take the 2 trades every day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. You have to do it for 21 days, a little bit over a month of trading. So you have a little bit over 42 trades. Might not be every day you're trading due to work or due to market volatility, or the market is not really giving you the opportunity, or they break below or break above. But once you have done it for 21 days, and your brain start recognizing this pattern that that's how you're trading, that's the right thing to do in the market. Same with stock investment, same with crypto, same with whatever you're buying real estate, you're holding on to it. You don't sell it before time. So think like day trading, like more real estate, that you're holding on to it and you want a specific price. And yes, it might not work 50% of the time, but if it just works 40% of the time, right? By holding on to it, you're always going to make 5 times more. So if you have 4 good wins in a month, right, out of 40 trades, you're making good amounts. If you was risking 0.5%, right, or you was risking 0.3% per trade, and you was making on average, let's just say 2.5%. If you do that 4 times, you're now up 10%. And if you lose, let's just say the other 34 trades, and you're losing, let's say 0.3% or 0.5%, here you would actually only be down 15%, right? But you have the other 10%, so now you minus 5. And that's what a very bad, like that's like a 10% win rate. So if you can go up to 20% win rate, or 30% win rate, or 40% win rate, like this strategy you have, with 15-minute opening range breakout with close below. We didn't have any close below, we didn't have any close above, so there's no trade today. You could scalp it, that's differently, but now we're just using the orb for you. So you have a system in place, it have over 50% win rate. So with 50% win rate, where you're making 5 times more every time, you are extremely profitable, and it takes no time to go from 10K to 100K to $1 million. Do you do it within a couple of years if you're following it and you strict yourself to trade? So how a trader with not much capital can be very wealthy is by sizing down, detach, don't care about the outcome because he's not that heavy exposed, hold on to a setup. So he train the right part of the brain. It's all about training these neural networks, building them stronger. It's about really staying, you don't care. It's about playing the game. You take things too seriously, and it's not good for your health, it's not good for your brain, it's not good for your heart, it's not good for anything that you're in with a lot of size, and you're sitting there and you're hoping, and then you're making 10 points, but then once it goes against you, like it will do 40 or 50 or 60% of the time, and that's just even a good trader like me, it goes against me 50% of the time, then with that heavy contract, you will lose like 30, 50, 60 points, and then that's blowing your account. That's why you're unprofitable. Not because your strategy is unprofitable, but your contract size, the math is against you. It will be a zero-sum game when you're using that much leverage. I would never personally use more than 3 to 4 times leverage. So with one contract, you're using 2 times leverage if you have $10,000 account, because one contract this is what you're buying in for, $24,000, right? So either you size down or you hold longer setups, and then I will add to it once, let's say you have a 20-point stop loss and it goes up and you up, let's just say you're up 50 points or 60 points. You can move your stop loss to break even when you half of your TP. It could also be like a setup like you're risking 100 points, right? That's like that's actually 1%. And then you're making 1,000 points over the next week or 2 weeks. Then once you're up 100 points, then you're moving your stop loss to break even. Now you have a break even trade, and now you just hold on to it, and you still trade on the side, but then it's just more direction based and more focused on where the market going. That also works if you're first moving your stop loss to break even when you're up 100 points and you just let it run. That's another thing. So try to move stop loss to break even, either very quick, once you're up 20 points, move it to break even, let it run to the 100 points, the 20. So move it very fast to break even, I would recommend that. And then I'll also, if you really do heavy contracts, let's say you're risking like 2% per trade, you want to make 10% per trade, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to really not moving your stop loss to higher, and if you are in profit with, let's say, 20-30 points and you're moving stop loss to break even, and then you get holding onto it, but 90% of the traders are failing and are broke people and are not going to succeed because of this simple thing, the contract size. Nothing to do whether anything strategy, something to do with the contract size, that they're forcing themselves to close early. So if you force yourself to close early, what I would recommend you is try to see how many break-even trades you can have, and try to make all your losing trades that would have been losing trades, try to make them break even. And then once you were up and you'd profit, you're always holding on to it. You're never closing before your target. So let's say I go short right here now, right? And I have my stop loss at 52, and let's say it goes down to 310. Then I'm up 20 points. Then I could move my stop loss to break even, my entry, and I can hold all the way back to my target. That's an amazing strategy. So you start risking 2%, but then you start lowering you down to 1%, maybe stop loss, and then down to break even, and then sometimes you could be up 2%, then you're moving your stop loss to 1%, and then you basically have either you're going to make 1% or you're going to make 10%. That strategy also works here. The issue is not that it's not going to work, but I'm telling you, the issue is that people is moving the stop loss when it's very close to hit, and then once they are up 20 points next trade, then they're closing it, and then they have two trades that equals, instead of just holding on to it in the second trade. So if you want to learn more, I offer a live trading session every single day. You can come on, it's the link in the description, and then you could see how I trade, and you can learn from me. That was it. I hope to see you soon.